and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
My name is Clementine Musimani and I play Doris on Sabbatical.
Hi, I'm Mona Munyani and I play Lesego on Sabbatical.
I would like to start with one scene in particular, and I think most of us as Kulilokshini, it hit home. There's a scene where you were in the bathtub, and Umama came in and scrubbed your bed, and we could see the power of those scrubs, which they were not just helping you clean up. They were sort of a message. What does that scene mean to you?
Yeah, that scene, it is packed. Ne? So we were unpacking the past, what we've been through, the miscommunications, the misunderstandings, what we've been going through, what she's been going through. And I think also for Doris, it was saying to her, I am so sorry for not being there in my communications with you, miscommunicating things, misjudging things, overlooking things, thinking that everything is okay and things are not okay, thinking about myself as Doris. And yeah, I was just saying, can you accept my apology? I'm still your mother. I love you. You are my daughter. And please forgive me.
We're having a moment because that is the scene for us in this film. For Lesego, this is her being vulnerable and letting go of control, finally. To stop deluding yourself, allowing her mom to be her mom, letting go of the shame, and actually letting her know that I'm hurting. I need you. I need you not to judge me. I need you not to try and control everything, but I need you to just sit with me right now and allow me to be weak, because I've never gotten to just be weak. I've never gotten to be imperfect. And now everything I've worked for is falling apart and I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do, Mama. You know, and I want to be strong because that's what you taught me to be. But I can't. I just can't. So it was just one of those scenes without words where mother and daughter were finally meeting each other as one and saying, this is us now. And we've got each other. And we're going to do this together.
Yeah.
So that's what that scene meant for us.
Yeah.
But I don't think we knew it was going to say all of that. We knew this scene was going to happen, but the moment sort of took over these people. And it was just when to stop. It wasn't staged, it wasn't choreographed, it wasn't anything, even how hard she was going in there, everything. At some point, Lesego can take it because I deserve the shame, right? You're trying to wash away the shame. But then at some point, it's like, but I'm only human. You know, let me make mistakes.
Let me be.
And it was just this beautiful moment of being suspended in realism and being able to let that moment take us somewhere. And when I watched the scene back, it really got to me. It got to me as an actress because I was like, whew, I need to go say sorry to my mom. Firstly, I'm so sorry, girl. You know? But at the same time, it's like, I'm too hard on myself. I'm too hard on myself. So it's just one of those powerful moments between these two women. And yeah, we love that scene.
And I think also for Doris, it was Doris also admitting her vulnerability and also saying, allow me to be as vulnerable as I want to be. I also need you. You know, so it takes two to tango. So we were just tangoing.
We were tangoing.
And for Lesego, there's another scene that might have gotten people a bit pinched up. It being alone at night, drunk, and there are three guys just around the corner. In your head, what do you think people would be watching that scene would be thinking is going to happen? Not telling people what happened, but what do you think people will think the way it looked just from the sound, even before we heard those guys?
You know, unfortunately, we live in a society where majority of women are not safe. They're not safe during the day, let alone at night, scantily dressed and drunk, you know. So even when I was watching it, I was on the edge of my seat. I know how the movie goes, but I was also just on the edge of my seat waiting for something bad to happen to her. But the character in that moment is not aware of her surroundings. She's so consumed by her own ego and her own emotions and her anger and all of this that there isn't an awareness of where she is and what is happening. And for her to be held in that space rather than taken advantage of, that's the brilliance of Karabo and her storytelling. Because for once, we are not villainizing the Black man, and we're not saying that every man is a monster. And we are also speaking to the community that Ikasi can have. You know, Kokasi is not all about, hey, it's crime and danger. There's still a lot of community. There's still people who know each other, you know. You could find that these boys know, oh, you know, and they wouldn't violate her. So I do think that scene is going to trigger a lot of people who have been taken advantage of. But it also just introduces a different way of life and a different way of viewing who we are as a society of people. And I hope it can actually even encourage some people to say, you know, there is another choice you can take. You don't have to see a vulnerable woman and then take advantage of her. You can actually be of assistance to her, even though you can argue they took advantage, you know, to a certain extent, but not in the way we expected it to happen. You know, yeah, it was. I think even for me shooting it, you are aware, man. Okay, in real life, I would be very scared for myself here. But the way the set was handled and the actors themselves, it was just, we were able to really create that safe space. And it became about something else completely, but you're still very aware. And that's just an indication of us being aware of society as a whole and how it treats women.
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way. Connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
Okay, your character is especially your neighbors, they don't really. We get a sense that they don't really like you.
They don't like who? I don't like them.
Yes. So, and as this film speaks to a lot of things we've experienced in Lokshi. And do you think your character is misunderstood by the members of the community that think Uti, she thinks she's better, she thinks she's this and everything?
In a way, yes, I think they are misunderstanding Dorothy, but Dorothy also better coffee for the fact that she can judge Chuli's mom. You know, I have a daughter. She's a daughter, and if I am that kind of a mother that really cares, it was my duty to call Chuli's mother, sit her down. Man, you don't walk naked. We don't do that. But instead, I judge her, and I prefer talking to her daughter more than her. Hence, I tell my boyfriend, "What is this woman next door, my man?" And her, she as rude as they come.
No, they judge it according to
According to Vele,
what she's brought out.
and they are expecting me to embrace that kind of a woman with that kind of language. No,
And we see ourselves literally being a rebel child for most of the film. okay, Nami, I've jumped the fences before because my mom did not want me to do things. Does it take you back to any moment in your life, some of the things that you did?
I was not a rebel child at all. I've never jumped a fence. I've never snuck out. I only started going out to parties in varsity. I was like an introverted child. I was always in the house. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was always like focused on academics and all of that. So the rebel nature ya Lesotho is not mine. I don't share that with her actually. That's the one thing we're different in. I was not a rebel. But what I do share is hiding things from your mother, going through some personal hardships and then hiding them and trying to look like everything is okay or not opening yourself up to be vulnerable with your mom. But I had friends, so I would live vicariously through them. And then, why okay? Yo, hey. So that was me. But no, I did not rebel, Jim.
I don't think Lesego is a rebellious child. I think because she understands Doris so much that Doris grumbles over everything. And that's Kasi life, by the way. Ke jump a fence ke next door. I can't want to talk gate, ke jump a fence. Ke lifestyle ya ko Kasi. And for me, it was not for Lesego is rebellious. It's just Lesego being herself, wana ko Kasi. She's in that space. Akilong ka gate. Jumper.
When in Rome.
Yeah. As the Romans do.
Because she's not going to jump any fence. No.
Marcoca, see, there's nothing wrong.
And there is a moment that when you finally open up your home to Mamdo, we sort of see a shift in Mama's face. Would you say was that a shift of surprise or a shift of pride to see what your child has been able to acquire?
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way, connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
It was a shift of pride and relief that, oh my goodness, at least she's following in her mother's footsteps. Wow, look at!
Do you see what I deal with? All goes back to her.
And she doesn't vocalize it, ne? It's just in him.
She throws up. Like what's that?
And there is an interesting plot twist regarding our Mangbe society.
What about that?
Whose brilliant idea was it that, yes, the money will go missing, but not really?
Ask the script writer.
But in all honesty, there are a lot of societies in Okshin, and we see a lot of things happen, a lot of Omawi being taken advantage of because of certain scams like that. And what part did that scene play in what part do you think that scene is gonna play in people's perception of Stockfells and our society in Lokshin? Literally the entire thing. The fact that they were willing to go for a scam, and the fact that they trusted someone so much and that person ended up with all the money and they thought it was lost.
They trusted who? Actually, we trusted each other. So, what happened to the money? Who went to the bank?
I have no idea.
What happened?
I'm innocent in all of this. No, I think it's going to trigger a lot of people. I think money is a soft subject, you know?
Yeah.
But also the society, I mean, it's a billion-rand industry. They save billions of rands every single year.
And they make the economy of the country, make up the economy of the country.
Huge. These are huge monies that Abokoko are putting together just for bulk buying. There's a whole bulk buying season at the end of the year, Mama Krosa and all of that. But then when you look at how some people can take advantage of that and exploit for their own personal reasons, it's a sore point. It's a sore point. I don't think it's redeemable in any way, shape, or form, to be completely honest. But for whoever the money went to, they felt justified. So if
damage control somewhere else and you're like damage on the other side,
we must just be secure. I hope it also brings awareness.
Yeah.
That maybe Mongene stock fairly just take due process and protect yourself against such things. Maybe it's going to open up that conversation to say, but how are we actually doing this thing, and are we protecting ourselves as we do that? So that if the money, even if it is a scam that takes the money, but what insurance is there
exactly
for the people who have invested? Yeah.
Okay. In closing, what is your personal take on the film itself, how it was shot, and what message do you see it giving out to people?
Look, this is a story for the community. It's not just for the individual. And it's one that says, give yourself grace. We're human, we make mistakes. Life happens to all of us. But don't let that be your final story. You know, there's always a new chapter. And one thing I love about this film is it goes against what people have been watching so much. It's such a fresh take on storytelling. It's very relatable. A lot of people are going to see someone they know, even themselves, in this film. And it as you were saying, that scene where we're expecting something bad to happen and it doesn't happen, it reintroduces us to the beautiful community that we are as Abantu Bamnyama. You know, Black people were just beautiful in our own way. And I think it's just going to give people a different perspective on what does it mean to be a South African, actually, and what are our communities about. But on a personal level, I hope it helps people transform, and it helps people heal, and it really just helps people think about things in a new and different way. Yeah.
For me, she says a mouthful. I'm just going to be very short. I think for me, Sabbatical is going to restore relationships and families and society.
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way. Connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
Hello, my name is Karabuli Dikha. I am the writer-director of Sabbatical, the movie.
Hello, I am Kagiso Dikha. I am a producer of the film, this is Sabbatical, and also the older brother of Garams.
Yes.
She doesn't have the younger brother that we know of.
Yeah.
So only brother.
We're just discussing with Mona about one scene that we don't know if it's gonna throw people off or it's just gonna keep people on the edge of their seats. When she was intoxicated and she had to walk home alone. And we know a lot of bad things happen in such situations. And the moment we heard male voices just around the corner, most of us had gasped for air because we're thinking, oh no, it's about to happen. What was the process of writing that scene and coming to the conclusion of how it ended?
I think there's always kind of for my own journey as a filmmaker, I've always wanted to tell different stories. Perhaps ones that represent us in different ways, like a variety of ways, you know. And it's so it was intentional to have that initial fear, but to also say something different about community, that we really do have each other, you know. Like I know that those kind of guys, they're my cousins, really, they're really just chilling, you know. Terrible things happen to women in South Africa, but also we do have people who are just not that way, you know. And I thought how cool it would be to present that fear and then twist it and make it into something else. I'm also not very interested in showing violence on women's bodies, especially Black, you know, women's bodies. I think we see that a lot and it's traumatizing, you know. So I wanted some relief for our audiences to be like, sorry. Yeah, but it didn't happen to her, you know. That didn't happen, yeah. So it was, I guess, intentional in that way. But I know that initial fear was, yeah, it was there and it was kind of put there for a reason, yeah.
And watching the film from start to finish, a lot of us resonated. I don't know about that.
Which apparently they did.
We just talked to her and she said
Yeah,
she
she
did
said,
it.
"Oh, wow, you remind me of my mother."
She
I
said
mean,
my-
also in Holland, you saw people who were like,
Yes, we had the first screening in Rotterdam and the white people there were saying, oh, wow, I must call my mom. Yeah, it resonated, yeah.
I think and there was the bathtub scene with Umam Clementine and Mona, and most of us received that treatment because we were being naughty. That was the punishment. But to that, in the film, it comes across as a different kind of moment. What inspired that actual scene? Because it's one of the most powerful scenes you can ever see, and it doesn't have words, but it speaks a lot.
Yeah, I think I was kind of playing. There's a memory of the scrubbing of the back. Usually on a Sunday before you have to go to school, you know, they scrub off the dirt from the weekend and the week before, you know. It always felt like there was love, but like brutality, you know. Sometimes the scrubbing, just I don't know what you're looking for. The dirt is gone now, you know. And maybe they're taking out their own problems on your back and your neck, but I always found a strange mix of punishment and love in it, you know. And I wanted that kind of iconic scrubbing of, you know, the sack of oranges that's recycled for scrubbing. That's a good recycle thing. To kind of represent what Doris is feeling for her daughter at that moment, you know. I just thought it was like a kind of an iconic thing that we do, the scrubbing. It hurts, but it's supposed to be good for you. It's like tough love. That scene should be called #tough love, you know. But maybe there wasn't room for tough love. Maybe it's room for soft love, you know. Let's try soft love, but from Bamudi.
Somebody was saying it's like scrubbing off your sins, but I guess maybe also like exercising your own sins as you do that. But it is powerful because it's got so many meanings.
Yeah, and also
we also have. It's so tactile for people who've experienced. You can feel it.
Yeah.
When you see it, you're like, hey, I remember this, you know?
But also it seems like she can never scrub enough, which is why it goes the way it does. It's like, yo, how much can you scrub, you know? You cannot scrub me into a perfect daughter or into what you want me to be, you know? So all of that and whatever you take from it, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way, connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
from your side, Daphne, so you moved from being part of one of the most innovative comedy shows from Pure Monadi to being part of telling such a powerful story. What is that process like to shift from a mindset of I'm making people laugh to I'm waking up people to look into themselves and reflect?
I mean, I think that while making people laugh, there was also reflect, you know? Like at the time of making people laugh, there was a need to break the ice. South Africa was this new place, and people weren't really being honest about themselves and each other, and that was that. And I think in the same way that this movies, it's it serves the same purpose. It's like kind of let's be honest with ourselves, let's be honest to ourselves. I think for me, the evolution of as a storyteller has always kind of been how authentically can you tell a story. And I think Pure Manade resonated because people were like, yo, this speaks to us. They still come to me today and go, hey man, like that thing, can it come back? Can we do, because it kind of hit a nerve, it hit a truth at the time, and I'll do more comedies in the future when the time and the gap calls for it. But the underlying thing is that authentic storytelling that tells the story of here, and our spaces and all of that. Like, successfully telling that and putting that in the world for me is like an ideal.
I think it's also interesting working with Diprente, which Kahiso runs with our co-producer Tamsin Anderson, that the flavor of the stuff that comes out of it is an honesty, right? It could be horror, it could be thriller. I feel like you should expect all sorts of genres. There is always this kind of satirical, funny thing that we all have, but I think we will continue to play with genre and all sorts of tones, serious or not, So, yeah.
On a bit of a lighter tone, you had Oloiso play the investigative gentleman. And one of the first things when I was sitting with my friends when the trailer was sent, you saw Oloiso and you thought, laughter. But now he is this serious person, but you still want to laugh with everything he's doing and how he's talking.
Yeah.
How did you manage to keep him there and say, you'll be serious, but not serious to a point where people cannot laugh? Because people just wanted to burst out into laughter just
That's so funny. I think he's playing really straight. He's not trying to. But I think what I was also interested in is how big he is. So there's a lot of, he takes physically, up physically.
Yeah.
So I think you want to laugh because he's huge. Yeah. And he kind of like towers over people in the seriousness. So I feel like there's a little bit of like a comedy in it, Even like when he's walking through it, everywhere, he's just taking up a lot of, even the shots, he's like, So I feel like maybe that's where the funny is. Because he's just playing straight. But I found the idea of, and it was a casting that he's also suggested. I was like, this makes sense, I found how imposing his body is already enough that he didn't have to make us laugh or whatever. I thought it would be an interesting addition. Like, put this big man into the small world, as a threat, yeah.
And one of the things is, it's the easiest thing for him is to make people laugh. He's like, So I think it's always there. Yeah. Like, he's got so much control of it that what you're seeing is that he's not giving it to you, but he could. Like, there's also that.
It's bubbling under.
Yeah, he's like, there's one moment that, before they go and cut, you're like...
No, when he says and cut, he's like, there's a joke. Hey, when
So it's great, because that I feel like that energy makes that character, because he's kind of like he's unstoppable. He's got this he's coming. He's got like this thing that he'll come, he'll catch up. He's very much like, I'll get there. So but it's a nice kind of, the way you put it now, the idea that you're always about to laugh. You feel like there's a laugh around the corner. I think it's good. He did that well.
Yeah.
And now, the level of difficulty of telling a story that resonates with people from action to the final cut. Where did you need to be mentally to actually be able to tell that story, as you said, without putting in the horrors of what you see sometimes in townships? What was the level of difficulty making sure that it still speaks the truth, but it still paints a beautiful picture of community within the township society?
That's a very nice question. I don't know. I might not have the answer. But I think I think it's an act of love for me and my people, the people who raised me. I feel like I poured love into these characters, you know. Ultimately, I love them all. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of shows. I didn't have a resentment towards any of them as a writer, you know. So it's almost like an honoring of different types of people in my life and in our lives and in our shared communities, you know. So what if the truth was a love letter and not like a complaint or whatever or a court case, you know? So I think, yeah, it came from a love of how charming we are, even in our difficulties, you know? We
Yeah, so that's interesting because this movie could have been about those people that Loiso's character is chasing about and how they've been cheated and this is what happens in this place in Maracana and what.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. I think it's also there's enough people who tell those types of
think so,
stories
yeah.
that we need these other ones that are like that bring life, that bring energy into the space, you know?
See, so yeah, from a love perspective, how does one deal with this sort of challenge?
Yeah.
Crime, fraud, theft.
Thank you very much.
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way. Connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
Lebitso la ka ke Tina Mnumzana, ke bapala Councillor Belinda.
Leina la me ke Nupi Makobo, aka DJ Gogo. Ke tshameka Maggie mo Sabbatical. Ke nna ke Dibone Manyaka, Kimbo, and I'm playing Betty on Sabbatical.
In terms of your characters and the group Nelelo Moyon, how supportive do you think having the storyline Sabomeba Society, how important was it into making this film authentically, if the film it is for the society aggregation that we come from?
I think in really important thata because especially group ya rona ya Mighty Tigresses or the whole film as a whole, it deal le di issue tse di affectang society like directly. Every inch of the way throughout this movie, ho na le somebody o tlo identifying le something within the content ya movie. And as for rona, really the Mighty Tigresses, the pivotal role e group e tlo nna le influence ka yona mo bathong mo society ke go educate batho ba sentseng ba le vulnerable le ka jeno e ba educate gore re nne cognizant of the scamming that's going on. That's not starting now. That has been there for many years that we're coming back from. Yet, ntse e le yalo. It's amazing gore le ka tsatsi le la kajeno as we are speaking to you. Ho na le sentse ho na le batho ba ba falling into those scams. As I'm talking to you now, ho na le batho ba sentseng ba ntsha ditjhelete ba re just because ba batla go ira quick cash. Ha e bereke yalo ba gaetsho. Ha e bereke yalo. There's a saying that goes, if it looks or sounds too good to be true, it probably is. O ka se wa ntsha 500 ka jeno and expect to get 25,000 in 7 weeks' time. It doesn't happen like that. So, a re rutegeng, re educategeng, re bone, re tlhokomele ditšhelete tsa rona tse re di berekelang ka thata, ditšhelete tsa bana ba rona. And like I have said, re a makala gore batho sentse ba fall into the trap, sentse ba le vulnerable to these scams. Tse di santseng di diragala gompieno. It's only us
It has to stop at us. It's only us that can bring that to a stop, a standstill.
And there was a scene, Martina, when Lesego was at the gate, and you were one of the first people to arrive. As someone who's probably seen that throughout our Black community for a long time, what kind of emotions did that bring back to you personally, besides your character, seeing a daughter of the community laying down like that?
And, you know, that scene brought emotions that we no longer have ntho ele ya hore ngwana o hodiswa ke community. Besides hore the mother of Lesego is my friend, even if it was a child e ke sa mo tsebeng, it is my duty as a mother, as a woman, to see a child a robetse mole. I don't know the mother, I don't know the parents, but I am going to find out and help wherever I can. These days, but mind your own business. Ke le tagwa, se ke mo labela, Clara. Ke le tagwa, maybe mama gagwe wa ikgogomosa, mama gagwe nanagana eng. Mara lebala hore tomorrow it might be your child. You know, go na le ntho e nngwe e kileng ya etsagala gore whatever you do, nakong ha o etsetse wena, o etsetsa your children and your children's children. Go na le ntate o mongwe ke la rera kgale a re go na le ngwana tlhabilwe ke speakere ka mo jarateng, a ba tsaya speakere a se latlhela ko strateng. Bene se tlhabile koloi ya gagwe, a ba tsaya speakere a se latlhela ko strateng, o eme ka mo jarateng. Ngwana hae o a tshameka ko strateng and se rusitse. A ba tshameka. What happens is, what do you think speaker se le se tlhabile ba? Ngwana hae. O tshameka le bana ba bangwe, mara sa tlhaba ngwana hae. And that is saying ntho nngwe le nngwe o e etsang ha o e etsetse batho ba bangwe, o e etsetsa wena. So if you're doing bad things to other people, it might come back and it will luma wena. So nna as a mother, ha ne ke bona Lesego a robetse mole, the first thing that came to my mind is she dead? If she's dead, and I'm the first person, if she's dead, I don't want mama hae mole. So who is the first person to see Lesego as a mother, Alimole? And who is going to break news to the mother? Me. So for me, it was emotional, the panic that happened to say, Lesego, wake up. So as people in the community, let us go back to Ubuntu, man. Let us take care of each other. Let us remember her. Each child has ngwana wa ka. Yes, I gave birth to that child. That are child-led because the parents are dead. Whether the parents are dead because they were using drugs, whether the parents are dead because whether babulai. If come next door, you know it's a child-led household. What do you do when as an adult to help them?
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way, connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.
And there's a scene also, Lesego walking at night alone.
Whew.
And because of, if we're being honest with ourselves, right, about what kind of society we live in, and it's definitely not safe, especially for women. we hear male voices just around the corner.
No.
What was the first, without looking at how the scene ended, but the first thought when that moment comes, already she's intoxicated, and there's literally male voices around the corner, and you can hear they're also not sober. So what the first thought that comes to you, the first feeling?
Robbery and rape.
Robbery and rape. But what's the nicest thing about our townships is that how upela ko kasi, and we say okay sister wa ko khoneng kwala, okay sister wa at least o na le batho ba e leng gore they can protect you. But if e le gore ko kasi e strange mo o sa itsegeng mo teng, you think robbery and rape ga o le mosadi, or oh modimo she is drunk, and ka mo they are giving her more alcohol, it's done. O fella mo. That's how unsafe we are mo matsatsing a hona jaanong. You think robbery and rape.
But sometimes ke sa bolaye ntho o e etsang. Ba tla re ya ebile wa ikgantsha.
Yes.
Ba tlo mo rapela that. Ba ba nke ntho eo. Sometimes re hetiwa ke batho ba re ba itseng.
Ba re ba itseng gore o ikira betere.
Kapa fela o mongwe, you know, sometimes ha se le go ikira betere o thole I'm fit. O ka ba jwang hanka. One person comes up with a wrong idea. Ba bang, because they're intoxicated, they follow. They follow. Go kile ba le this incident go sekolong se seng ko Blom. Young boys, I think ba le 14, 15. Go no na le something ko sekolong. Kwa tsamai, ba nka ngwana ba fitla ba mo isa jwale. I think ba ne ba le 4 or 5. Go fielding ya sekolo. They started fingering her. Rape. Can you imagine those kids banally criminal record at their age? And almost a shoot. How stupid can one be? A shooter, they won't go social media. Number one, we see their faces. One man on say, my scandalo. I'm raping. And now I know if I let him go. But that's it. That was said not for the girl alone, said even for them. Already they have a criminal record at that age. Aba so fetse ko sekolong. Aba so fitlhe ko matric. That's said in the society. I pray the spirit of Ubuntu.
And it's sad because the letters on social media, little internet, imagine after 20 years when you watch that video, only when we relate you are a father to some mama, a girl. How are you going to feel? So we also have to teach our kids there's always a consequence. Yeah, so be careful of what you are doing. Be careful of the seed that you are planting. Or how we are CDM, who is going to water it? Who is going to take care of it? Or if so now what are we reaping from your tree? Nonsense, which is not needed.
So, in closing, for each of you, how was the actual feeling, being part of a film like this that told a story of the community, but for a change without painting the black child of the black community as a villain, as someone who's bad, as you spoke from the senior as a whole, possibly could have been raped, but they just gave her something to drink and they let her walk away. So being part of such a story that speaks so much to what we know and what we grew up with, but for a change without the negativities that came with some of the experiences we had collocation.
Now for now, there's still hope for our society. We watch movies like this. There's hope for our society. It's a relationship, community. Let us take care of each other. Yes, they didn't walk her home, but they did nothing to her. And again, a relationship between a child and a daughter, a relationship between people, community members, friends. Yes, we fight, but we fight to kill each other or we fight to forgive each other and move on.
Nna go ya ka nna ke rata ke re I want to believe from the bottom of my heart gore there is no amount of moral fiber in any race, I'm sorry to say that, as there is in a black nation. Us blacks have got moral fiber in abundance, like it's not believable. Ke di-elements nyana tseo tse di tlang di re koafatsa, mara o ka lebella sentlentle gore re tla ko kae. Re tswa ko ngwaong ya molao, and molao o na le botho. Ke tla boela hape ke re moral fiber. Re ne ke gopola ha re gola rona. The way tlhompho le maitseo le maikobo di ne di le ka teng. Go nona le nako ya hore le ha leso nne le feta mole re khumame re tswa re mo tlhogong yana go bontsha hore molao re tswa le ona ga lowe re batla fela re tekatekisa ke dilo tse di diragalang gona yana. So I'm very proud to say, in spite of everything tse negative tse di diragalang, tsena deep o bothong ba motho o montsho o tlo bona botho le molao le shall I say moral fiber again? Yes.
Oh, nna ntho e nka e bolelang ke gore motho o mong le mong o na le story sa hae. We all have our own stories to tell. Sabbatical, it's a simple story, but it has so many branches. When you watch it from the beginning until the end, but the emotion, the journey, I think, you know, suspense is what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? It shows whether your story is simple or your story is painful or emotional or whatever. It's a story. So if you have a story, please tell your story. People have to learn out there. We have to learn from each other's lives and each other's mistakes and each other's journeys. Teach each other. One teach one what yay marararuta. Each one teach one. Yes.
Introducing Pluck, the ultimate social app where your connections turn into earnings. Seamlessly post, watch content, and chat with friends. But here's the game changer: you earn money from every post. Receive gifts from fans, gain subscribers to boost your income, and explore endless content for entertainment. Plus, our new voice comment feature lets you engage in a whole new way. Connect, entertain, and profit all in one place. Download Pluck today and experience the next revolution in social media. Pluck, where your content pays.